Alex Smith announced his retirement.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about him, his career, what kind of person he is, what kind of quarterback he is. Iggy, why did he retire? He just figured he had been really hurt and
yeah, I mean, he's getting older. I don't think there was much demand for him. I don't think anyone wanted him to be his starting quarterback. He probably would have had to go somewhere and be a backup. And why? Why do that, man? I mean, you're 36. You've made a lot of money. You've had some really gruesome injuries. Just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Be prudent. Stop.
Yeah, stop. Joe Staley retired. Just stop.
Iggy, now that his career is over, how do you evaluate him as a quarterback, and what letter grade would you give him?
He's a B plus.
I love it. I wouldn't have thought you'd go that high, but tell me why he's a B plus.
He was a B plus. He got drafted to like one of the worst franchises and teams you could imagine. They didn't just make him look bad the first 6 years of his career. They did harm to his career. They set him back. He got hurt. He could have been much better. It's a shame. If he had like an alternate reality where he went to Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers went to the Niners and Alex Smith got to sit for 3 years and then come into that team with all those players, he would have been much better. He would have been an A minus. He wouldn't have been Aaron Rodgers, but he would have been an A minus. So I think he's underappreciated, and his career actually could have been much better.
What were his strengths and what were his weaknesses?
He was a good athlete for a quarterback. He could run, he could throw. He was a genius. I mean, he was like Peyton Manning before the snap. By the time Alex Smith had gotten to 27, he could really diagnose what the defense was trying to do and then get the offense in the right play. So he was one of the smartest quarterbacks in the league the entire time. And I think what held him back from being an A was his brains. He ended up becoming a very good decision maker. He was a winning quarterback for more than 10 years. And what he learned was, don't turn the ball over. I'm going to make smart, safe decisions and not beat myself, which is very smart. But I think he never really accomplished much in the playoffs. And I think what you could say is, well, his sort of safety first style only gets you so far. That's
right. You know, with him, he could always throw a beautiful pass. And the question was, will he throw it?
Will he throw it? Yeah, absolutely. Like, will he anticipate it either? Or will he have to see it first and then throw it? Which I think why we were all so impressed in 2011 when he beat the Saints and put up all those points and won with that throw to Vernon Davis, which he threw early and it had anticipation. And it was the greatest day of Alex Smith's life, at least that we covered. I always remember that day.
Yeah. I think B plus is totally fair and right on. And I would add, and this is irrelevant, but he was just an angel with the media. He understood what we needed, what we were about, and he was forthcoming. He was polite. And, of course, we could compare him to Kaepernick because Kaepernick succeeded him, and Kaepernick was so rude and immature. And this is before Kaepernick became famous. I'm not talking about all of the social justice stuff. I'm just talking about how he acted, and you could compare the two of them.
Also compare him to Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you covered Aaron Rodgers at Cal. You didn't particularly like Aaron Rodgers.
No. And after losses, he could be awful.
He was not down to earth. He had an ego. The thing about Alex Smith that always struck me was how down to earth he was for a guy who was the number one pick in the NFL draft. Usually those guys are just out of touch. There's a whole different thing. And he always made it his business to be like, hey, I'm normal. I know I was the number one pick, but I'm normal.
You know, one time I wanted to interview him, and this was when he was the starting quarterback at the Niners. And usually, you know, they have some operative from the PR department hovering over, which always makes me want to puke. And you do it in some, you know, room in the facility. He said, I'll tell you what, I'll meet you in the PR. You know, they have that other little bunker. Yeah. And he sat at a desk. I sat at a desk. I remember he had his feet up on the desk. And I was asking him questions. He says, Lowell, ask me anything you want. You know, I'm really normal. That's what he said. I'm a normal person.
And how old do you think he was at that point? 22?
Maybe.
22.
Maybe. Yeah. He was just lovely.
Like mission statement for his career, like don't change. Don't let this change you. Be true to yourself. I always respect that about him.
Yeah. So I want to finish this section by saying, Alex, I think you had a wonderful career. You can be proud of it.
Yeah.
I think you're a person who didn't make enemies, that the people who know you like you and wish you only the best.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting. Back in 2010, he was seen as like a disappointment because he was the number one pick and Aaron Rodgers was better and he was struggling. Now I think his legacy is that he was a guy who was like an overachiever. I mean, he did better than anyone would have expected 10 years ago. He salvaged a terrible start to his career and ended up being a winner.